Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're pleased to have Mr. John Mayfield, the international expert in the real estate market and also the real estate broker. Hello, Mr. John.
Hello,
Hi.
thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here in Egypt.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful country, and I've just enjoyed my time and meeting the various real estate professionals here and other people. It's been
Is it your first time here in
It's my
Egypt?
first time visiting Egypt, yes.
And how long are you staying?
I go back tomorrow night, so one of the late flights that fly out early in the morning.
You have to stay for a long time and get your family with you.
That's right.
The next
yes,
time.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start by, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell me about your education, your bachelor degrees, and even your master's.
Well, I got my real estate license when I was 18 years of age, at the age of
Very
18,
interesting.
and went on to get my real estate broker's license. That was in 1978, so I've been in real estate 41 years. I did go on to the university and obtained a degree in business, and then a few years ago went back and received my master's degree in real estate. So I love real estate. I'm not only an instructor, but I like to be a student as well. I think that's important.
So, you know much more about real estate, how you have collaborated between the digital marketing and real estate at the same time.
Yes, I've always been, as a broker and a real estate licensee, I've always felt that it's important to try to look at what are the new trends, how are consumers finding information about real estate. And so I guess I'm a little bit of a visionary, and I like to look into the future, and I just like to try to adapt to that. So many years ago, when the internet first came out back in the 1990s, I was using it and figuring out ways to use it in my real estate practice to save time, to be more productive, and more importantly, to use digital media and technology to reach consumers and to grow my real estate company.
Most of the real estate companies are focusing on the BTL and the ETL campaigns. So I think the digital marketing is much more important than those campaigns?
Yes, I mean, you have to kind of look at all of the various types of media and marketing that you can do.
At the same time?
Yes, at the same time. And try to have a consistent message, whether it be offline or online. But to me, today you can reach so many people through digital media, through social media, through blogging, through posting podcasts or YouTube videos. And so it's really brought the cost down for many companies. And I know a lot of younger real estate professionals in the United States who have started and been able to develop very successful careers by using digital media.
So you think the digital marketing in USA, it's totally different than in Egypt?
I think that there are some similarities. I think that there are things we could learn from the USA from what you're doing here in Egypt, and I think vice versa. I was talking to one gentleman after the presentation today, and he was talking about how he enjoyed the fact that I was talking about educating and informing consumers rather than just trying to talk all about the amenities. And there's kind of a different way to reach the consumer without mentioning all the great attributes and things your development has to offer, which is important, but also consumers want to know much more about your product and the location and the geography. So all of those are very important.
So if you have a new startup or a new real estate company that's booming or need to boom in the recent time, what kind of recommendations we could tell them, or the tasks they should follow in order to be in the market in a good way, in the real estate market and also in the digital marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think first and foremost you have to understand what your mission statement is and your core values, and upon that you need to have a message that you can deliver to consumers. That helps build trust, which is a big part of any organization. You can do all the digital marketing you want, but if you don't have the trust with the consumer, it could all kind of fall apart. So to answer your question, I think the first thing is, what's your message? What do you believe? What's your core values? And then develop a campaign that you can use across the various media platforms like Facebook, Pinterest we talked about a little bit today, YouTube, but deliver that message consistently and on a regular basis so that consumers can get to know who you are, understand you, and then build that relationship.
So business is mainly the main major in most of the universities, or in mainly the work. So they're not educating how to reach the digital marketing. They could give you a major info about marketing in general with its different departments. What we should tell the colleges or universities or even schools, how to teach them from the beginning, from scratch.
Excellent.
To know the digital marketing.
You've got to really go and educate the students or the business professionals when these new trends hit. There's this interesting study that says some information freshmen, college students learn won't even be around their senior year. And I remember in an organization I'm involved in, my big push was, as these new tools come out, we should be educating business professionals. There's a new tool called Snapchat. How do you use that? It's not a new tool. It's been around a while. But when that first came out, that was an important new platform for many younger people. But it's important that we understand how it works because they may want to communicate that way. So my suggestion to universities and colleges is you might have to act quicker. And, there may have to be classes that are put in place that they weren't even thinking about in the springtime, but by fall, that should be a program that maybe they begin educating.
And also in different work environments.
Exactly.
Not only in the colleges.
We have to act quickly on some of this and try to find the right sources and the people. That's what's interesting about digital media platforms. There's always going to be someone, could be you, who's an expert in that field, and we should, even though you might not have all the required credentials, you could be a great person to educate and teach people about that topic that's a new trend.
Okay, so we will have a small break with Mr. John Mayfield, and we'll come again soon. Mr. John Mayfield, the international expert in the real estate market and also the real estate broker. Welcome again.
Thank you.
As we are here in the FIAPSI seminar in Egypt, we need to know how you have started the collaboration between you and FIAPSI in Egypt and internationally.
Yeah, it's interesting. I gave a presentation in Nice, France, and was invited to speak at a phonemic event in Paris, France after that. And during the presentation in Paris, I was introduced to a gentleman who was the president of FIAPSI that year. So he asked me to come and speak for FIAPSI, and they had me speak about 3 years in a row. And I told my wife, I said, it's such a great organization, I probably need to join. So I joined the organization and have been with them ever since. I served as World Council of Brokers for 2 years, and that's how I met Abdel Nassar, and that's how I ended up coming to Egypt. But the FIAPSI is a group of international real estate brokers that's trying to leverage ways that we can learn how to do business in other countries and how we can share that information and collaborate. And there's many other things we do with the UN and so forth.
Okay. So how you have collaborated with Mr. Abdel Nasser, the CEO of FIAPSI in Egypt?
Yes. So he has been a great friend and just a wonderful person, and he attends many of the events representing Egypt in other international parts of the world. And so that's how he and I became friends. We've gone on trips to India and Malaysia and the Philippines and Panama and different places.
So what do you think of the discussion or the feedback of people here in Egypt for this session, the whole session?
I was very pleased. I mean, everyone enjoyed it from what I could tell, and the comments, and it's always great as a speaker when you can look out in the audience and you see kind, smiling faces. So, but the people were wonderful, and I think things went well. I hope so, anyway.
Inshallah. Okay. I need you to tell me more about the real estate school that you have owned in the USA.
So I started my online real estate school 2 years ago. Unfortunately, there are a lot of schools out there, and I never want to say anything derogatory about a competitor, because I have some great competitors in the real estate school business. But a lot of the schools were just reading and clicking your mouse, and I wanted to give the student a more interactive experience, kind of a gamifying with video and audio and the new twists that a lot of the younger generation likes, as I mentioned, with gamifying, but making online education fun, affordable, and a process where they could learn the content. So it's going very well right now.
Tell me, how can the Egyptian people apply for the online website?
Well, that's a great question. In the United States, you have to be certified through the state that you want to do business in. So if you wanted to sell real estate in Florida, you would have to go to a Florida school. Right now, I'm just approved in Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, and South Dakota. I'm in the Midwest. We are soon to be approved, hope to be approved in other states such as Florida, Hawaii, Pennsylvania. So they would, my real estate school is globalrealestateschool.com, globalrealestateschool.com. They could sign up there. I have some people who just sign up because
from Egypt?
Well, you could if you just wanted to get the knowledge. You would get a certificate, but you would only be able to sell real estate in Missouri or Kansas. But I do have some people who've gone through my school just because they wanted to learn more about the information.
Well, the digital marketing mainly. They'd be interested to join the group or the
and
education.
I do have some other, other programs for marketing tools for existing real estate agents and social media tools and things they can sign up for there as well.
So what do you think is the future of digital marketing on the long run?
In the United States, I think the future is, I believe you're still going to see a lot of cutting edge, innovative techniques. I think it still gets back to relationships. Buying a real estate, a home, or any real estate is a very complicated process, regardless of what country you're in. It involves a lot of legal information, and it can be very uneasy for some people. It can be complicated, and it can bring fear. One lady talked today about fear. That's where the real estate agent comes in. If you can demonstrate trust and be a friend and create a relationship, I think the future, even though digital marketing and all of these creative, innovative ideas are out there, I still think consumers will want to do business with you and I if we could build the relationships.
Of course. So if you could have a final recommendation for the Egyptian citizens or the Egyptian market, what they should start doing in the digital marketing and mainly real estate?
Yeah, I think
for persons, not only companies.
Yeah, I think for persons or companies, I think they should. You could go to YouTube and do searches for some of the programs that are out there. I watch a lot of good videos and get ideas from other agents who post videos. There are webinars you can sign up for. I offer some webinars occasionally where I teach that information, and sometimes there's no charge. And sometimes I think it's good to just seek out someone that you could hire as a consultant or a coach. I've hired people as a coach to help me, because sometimes it's good to get someone from the outside who can give you a perspective and a fresh set of eyes on your current business and how you can improve it.
For sure. Mr. John Mayfield, we had the pleasure to have you today in the seminar and also in Egypt, and you should come again to Egypt.
I hope I can come back again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
If you weren't at the presentation, well, we would love for you to come join us next time.
Of course, for sure. We had the pleasure to interview Mr. John Mayfield, the international expert in the real estate market and also the real estate broker, for his first time in Egypt. He has discussed a lot of interesting topics in the digital marketing and how it's very effective in the real estate market. Stay tuned for other episodes.